Usually, when we talk about a multi-billion-dollar corporate budget, there's this expectation of almost surgical precision.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, like you look at a balance sheet, you track the ROI, and a CFO can just point to a specific line item and tell you, like, the exact profit margin that investment generated.
Right, because money goes in, measurable value comes out.
Exactly. It's supposed to be this highly visible, highly categorized machine.
Yeah, we find comfort in those clean metrics.
Hmm.
When a corporation is deploying hundreds of millions of dollars, the basic assumption is that the data is airtight.
That every dollar is held accountable.
Exactly.
Well, today, we are looking at a multi-billion-dollar marketing landscape that operates as basically a complete financial black box.
It really is.
It's this system built on fundamentally misaligned incentives where just massive amounts of money evaporate without achieving the one thing it was actually designed to do.
Which is wild when you really dig into it.
Totally. So we're pulling from this really fascinating source document today. It's titled, From Awareness to Action, Fixing Wasted Dealer Co-op Dollars. And if you are someone who loves, deconstructing broken systems.
Oh, this is the one for you.
Yeah, figuring out how smart people fall into massive systemic traps. This deep dive is an absolute masterclass.
It's a perfect case study.
Right. We are looking at original equipment manufacturer or OEM co-op marketing money. So basically, these are the funds the giant car manufacturers give to local dealerships to, help them sell cars.
Okay, let's unpack this because the mechanics of how this particular machine breaks down are just fascinating.
Sure.
Because, the premise sounds pretty flawless on paper.
Sure. Sound like a win-win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The manufacturer sets aside marketing funds, right? And the local dealer uses those funds to promote their inventory or maybe like a local sales event or their service center.
Okay.
And as long as the advertising stays inside the brand's guidelines, the dealer gets partially reimbursed for the cost of the ad.
So the manufacturer gets local brand presence and the dealer gets subsidized advertising. Sounds great.
Right. But in reality, millions of those co-op dollars are just being poured into campaigns that prioritize well, protecting the manufacturer and making the advertising agency feel compliant.
Well, the fundamental question, the one thing a local business should ask, did this specific advertisement actually sell a car today?
It gets completely ignored.
Wow.
Yeah. The money gets spent, the campaign gets approved, the disclaimers are all correct, but the underlying strategy is just entirely broken.
So how do they get trapped in this? Because these are smart business owners.
Right. It starts with this psychological trap that captures almost every local dealer at some point.
Yeah.
It's the illusion of free money.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Because the manufacturer is reimbursing, half or more the cost, the campaign just feels significantly less risky.
Right. It's not totally out of their pocket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A dealer will casually sign off on a massive media spend that they would never, ever fund entirely on their own, simply because the funds are subsidized.
I feel like it's the corporate gift card effect.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
You know what I mean? Like you have a $50 corporate gift card that expires at the end of the week.
Right, so you panic.
Yeah. Instead of buying something you actually need, you panic and buy a ridiculous, vibrating desk toy just so the balance doesn't go to waste.
Spot on.
You didn't gain anything useful, and worse, you totally ignored the opportunity cost. Because wasted co-op money is still wasted money, even if it's subsidized.
Opportunity cost is the real casualty here. I mean, if a dealership spends those co-op funds on a weak, generic awareness campaign just to get the reimbursement check, they didn't just waste the manufacturer's money.
They wasted their own matching funds.
Exactly. They wasted their own money, they wasted their team's time, and they wasted the opportunity to put that exact same budget toward a targeted campaign that could have, actually pulled real local buyers into the showroom.
Right.
What's fascinating here is that a bad ad doesn't magically become a strategic ad just because someone else helped pay the invoice.
Right, a bad ad is a bad ad.
Yeah. The purpose of local marketing isn't to spend reimbursable money. The purpose is to create local demand.
So if the goal is to create local demand, we really have to look at why these campaigns end up being so incredibly generic in the first place.
It comes down to a massive divergence in the goals, the timelines, really, of the two players involved.
Okay, break that down.
So the manufacturer and the OEM is playing a 10-year game. They are building this emotional brand legacy.
Right, they want the national television spots with the sweeping orchestral music.
Yes, showing an SUV carving through a snowy mountain pass or cruising down the Pacific Coast Highway.
Yeah.
They are selling a feeling.
A vibe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the local dealer does not have 10 years.
No.
The local dealer operates in a brutal 30-day cycle. They have aging inventory sitting on the asphalt. They have floor plan costs.
Wait, floor plan costs, it means they're paying daily interest, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're paying daily interest to a bank on every single unsold car sitting on that lot. And that interest is actively eating into their profit margins every morning the sun comes up.
Ouch.
Plus, they have strict monthly sales targets, a showroom full of salespeople waiting to feed their families, and oh yeah, a competitor 3 miles down the road trying to steal the exact same customer.
So the dealer needs action this afternoon, like right now.
Right now. So when the reimbursement rules push the dealer toward those clean, brand-safe, national-style awareness campaigns, it actively drifts their marketing budget away from retail urgency.
Because the Snowy Mountain commercial makes the brand look fantastic globally, sure, but it does absolutely nothing to help the dealer move the 50 specific trucks they need to sell in the next 2 weeks.
Nothing at all. Which brings us to the mechanism that really enforces that generic style. And that's compliance.
The compliance rules.
Yeah, the rules governing what a dealer can and cannot say in order to actually get their money back.
But hold on, let me push back on that a little. If we throw out the manufacturer's rules entirely, aren't we just inviting absolute chaos?
Well, yeah.
I mean, you can't have local dealers out there going rogue, promising like 2-for-1 cars, or hiding massive down payment requirements in microscopic text, or using a competitor's logo.
Right.
Like, basic compliance has to be necessary to protect the consumer, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Basic compliance is 100% necessary. Nobody in the source document is arguing that dealers should be allowed to run bait-and-switch offers or misrepresent the financial terms.
Okay.
The breakdown happens because compliance slowly morphs into this bureaucratic cage.
A creative cage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It strips all creativity and local flavor out of the message because the review process is just relentless.
Give me an example.
So the ad has to use approved high-resolution imagery from the OEM portal. The font has to match the national brand guidelines exactly.
Even the font.
Oh, yeah. The spacing around the logo is heavily scrutinized, and then the legal disclaimers end up taking up a third of the screen.
Right. So by the time an ad clears all those hurdles, it's completely sterile.
It's totally safe. It's legally approved.
And entirely invisible to the actual consumer.
Yep. It answers the administrative question of, is this reimbursable? But it completely fails the only question that matters for local business.
Which is, will this make a buyer actually stop scrolling and care?
Right. The source material actually refers to the ultimate result of this compliance cage as the sea of sameness.
Ooh, the sea of sameness. I like that.
Because every dealer is pulling from the exact same portal of manufacturer-approved assets. They're using the exact same approved taglines, offering the exact same national interest rates. They just lose all local identity.
Yeah, I want you to picture scrolling through your social media feed on a Tuesday night.
We've all seen it.
Right. You see a drone shot of a dealership lot, some generic, royalty-free rock music kicks in, and bold text flashes across the screen saying, 0% financing for well-qualified buyers.
Followed by a wall of tiny legal text.
Yes. And then 10 minutes later, you see the exact same drone shot and rock music formula from a different dealership 2 towns over.
The dealership is essentially paying money to blend in.
Wow.
The advertisement is doing none of the heavy lifting to differentiate why a customer should buy from them specifically. They aren't building localized demand. They are just acting as a pass-through for a national message.
And if the OEM is mandating that the campaign focus heavily on the vehicle, saying promote the new Silverado or showcase the EV lineup, they're starting the conversation with the product.
Right.
But if we think about human behavior, that is completely backwards.
Totally backwards.
A buyer doesn't wake up in the morning, pour a cup of coffee, and think, you know what? I really need to help my local dealer hit their monthly quota on 2025 SUVs today.
No, of course not. The source material lists the actual internal thoughts of a car buyer, and they are rooted entirely in personal anxiety and friction.
Yeah, like that.
Buyers wake up thinking, my monthly payment is killing my budget. Or, my lease is up in 2 months, and I have absolutely no idea what to do.
Or, my family just had a second baby, and we physically cannot fit in this sedan anymore.
Exactly. Or, my truck has 150,000 miles on it, and I'm terrified of the next mechanic's bill.
It's like a hardware store spending their entire marketing budget yelling, come look at our shiny new titanium hammers.
When the customer's sitting at home thinking, I have a squeaky floorboard that is driving me insane.
Yes. That's a great analogy.
You have to speak to the squeaky floorboard. The vehicle isn't the starting point. The vehicle is the solution to the buyer's very specific local problem.
And translating that broad national aspiration into a sharp local hook is where the strategy needs to pivot. The brand supports the message, sure, but the buyer's problem is what actually drives the response.
Does this source offer a way to actually do that? Yeah, it offers a great blueprint for this translation. So instead of a dealer running an ad that just features the manufacturer's national slogan like "Build Ford Tough" alongside a generic picture of a truck, they flip the script.
All right.
The local ad says, "Local truck owners, we are desperately low on used inventory and are aggressively reviewing trade values this week for F-150 and Super Duty models."
Oh, wow. That immediately gives the viewer a reason to act right now. It creates urgency.
Exactly. Another example. Instead of running a generic OEM banner that says, Toyota reliability you can trust, the dealer identifies the buyer's fear of maintenance costs.
So what does that ad look like?
It becomes,
Yeah.
if your current vehicle is out of warranty, compare the risk of your next major repair bill against our available Toyota payment options.
That is so smart. That targets the person holding their breath every time their engine makes a weird noise.
Right.
But okay, focusing on the buyer's problem is so obviously effective. We have to ask why dealers keep running the generic ads. I mean, there has to be a systemic enabler keeping this broken cycle spinning.
Oh, there is. Here's where it gets really interesting. The enablers are often the marketing agencies themselves.
Really?
Yeah, and the reimbursement system completely dictates their behavior. Agencies love co-op money because it totally changes the nature of their sales pitch to the dealer.
How so?
Well, instead of having to prove that their ad creative is brilliant and will actually sell 50 cars, the agency walks in and pitches access.
Ah.
They tell the dealer, hey, you have $100,000 of OEM money sitting on the table. Your competitors are using theirs. Don't worry about the complex compliance rules. We will handle all the paperwork, submit the assets, and guarantee you get your reimbursement check.
Wow, so they shift the dealer's focus completely away from performance to administration?
Exactly.
Right.
The dealer stops evaluating the ad for its persuasive power and just sees it as this bureaucratic task they need to check off the list.
And the agency gets a massive media buy to manage, which usually comes with healthy management fees and requires very little custom creative work since they're just recycling OEM templates.
Yep. And the dealer feels like they won because they got a check from the manufacturer. It's crazy.
That dynamic just breeds the most dangerous phrase in corporate budget management.
Use it or lose it.
Use it or lose it, yeah.
Yeah.
As the end of a quarter approaches, a dealership realizes they have funds expiring. The agency calls and warns them that if they don't spend it, the manufacturer takes it back.
Which leads to panic buying.
Total panic buying. The dealer just says, fine, just dump it into a broad display network, buy some templated social media carousels, just get it spent.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, then comes the reporting phase, which completely hides the failure.
How do they hide it?
Because the media buy was generic,
Yeah.
the agency can't report on cars sold. So they report on vanity metrics instead.
Oh, right.
The dealer receives this beautifully designed spreadsheet highlighting, millions of impressions, massive geographic reach, thousands of clicks, high video completion rates.
But you can generate 2 million impressions and still be completely ignored by the 200 people in your zip code who are actually prepared to buy a car this week.
Exactly.
Impressions do not pay the floor plan interest.
They really don't. Dealerships need to demand retail-level reporting. They need to ask the agency, like, how many qualified appointments did this specific co-op spend generate? How many customers physically showed up to the showroom? What was the cost to acquire one sold unit?
Right.
If the agency can only point to video views, the dealer has absolutely no idea if the money worked.
Let's trace the actual human behavior here, because this is where it gets kind of horrifying.
Oh yeah, the leaky bucket.
Right. Let's say the agency prints that beautiful report showing 10,000 clicks. Let's follow just one of those clicks. A customer sitting at home sees the generic co-op approved ad on their tablet. Miraculously, they actually click on it. What happens next?
The source material details an operational breakdown at the dealership level that is just, frankly, staggering. It's known as the website graveyard.
Website graveyard.
Yeah. So the customer clicks a highly polished, multi-million-dollar produced image of an SUV with a promise of, say, a great lease deal. But instead of landing on a dedicated page explaining that specific offer, they're just dumped onto the dealership's main unfiltered inventory page.
Oh, that's just digital chaos.
It is. The customer is staring at 70 different vehicles. The monthly payment terms from the ad are nowhere to be found. The call to action is this vague button that just says, "Get e-price."
And then I'm guessing a generic automated chat window pops up asking, how can I help you today?
Of course. And the customer feels completely disconnected from the ad they just clicked, gets frustrated, and just closes the browser.
But the agency's report still proudly claims they drove traffic.
Yep. But if the landing experience doesn't convert that traffic into a lead, the media spend is entirely wasted. A strategic co-op campaign requires a dedicated conversion path.
Like, if the ad is about trading in an old truck, the click must lead to a clean, specific landing page focused entirely on valuing a trade-in.
With no other distractions.
But wait, even if we assume the digital path works, what happens when a customer bypasses the website and just picks up the phone to call the showroom?
This is where the silos within a dealership completely destroy the investment. The marketing department, or the outside agency, launches the co-op campaign on a Monday.
Okay.
The sales team on the floor is never informed.
Wait, really? The people whose entire job is to talk to the customer have no idea what the marketing message is.
None. A customer calls the main line and says, "Hi, I'm calling about the lease special I just saw on Instagram for the new sedan." The salesperson pauses, completely confused, and has to put the customer on hold to go find a manager and ask what special the dealership is currently running.
That is so embarrassing.
Or a digital lead drops into the CRM, the customer relationship management system, and the source label simply says website.
So the salesperson calls the lead with a generic script, having absolutely no idea the customer is specifically worried about their high interest rate based on the ad they clicked.
Exactly. The campaign promised the customer one specific conversation, but the sales process starts a completely different one.
That instant disconnect just destroys trust. The customer feels like they're being baited and switched, even if it's really just sheer incompetence on the back end.
Right. If the marketing message is not seamlessly connected to the showroom floor, it is not a sales campaign. It is just media.
Wow.
If a dealer is using co-op money to drive retail traffic, the sales team must be thoroughly briefed. They need to know exactly what ad is running, what the specific offer details are, what objections they should anticipate from the customer, and what the manager-approved response is.
Because without that handoff, you are literally paying for the privilege of confusing your own customers.
Exactly.
All right, so we have thoroughly diagnosed the systemic disease here. The incentives are misaligned, the compliance restricts creativity, the agency's push for easy billing, the operational handoff is completely broken.
It's a mess.
How does a local business actually cure this? How do they build a campaign that survives the compliance cage, gets reimbursed, and actually moves metal off the lot?
Okay, so the source outlines a strict 5-part blueprint, and this acts as an antidote to all that generic co-op waste. First, you must start with a defined buyer problem, not a vehicle model, a human problem. High payments, ending leases, rate pressure.
Start with the squeaky floorboard.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Second, you attach a compliant vehicle or an approved OEM offer to that problem, positioning the car as the solution.
Okay, so step 3 has to be giving them a reason to act today.
Correct. Step 3 is a clear, localized call to action. You ban phrases like "learn more" or "click here." The call to action must be specific, like "get a customized trade estimate in 10 minutes" or "schedule a payment review with our finance team."
Got it.
Step 4 is the digital path, a dedicated, distraction-free landing page tied directly to that one specific campaign.
And step 5 is the internal showroom handoff.
Yep. CRM notes, specific salesperson scripts, and a fully briefed team.
I feel like the mindset shift is what really anchors this blueprint, because dealerships have been trained to look at a marketing idea and immediately ask their agency, is this co-op eligible?
Which is the trap.
Right. Because when eligibility is your very first filter, your strategy is instantly trapped in the compliance cage. The very first question actually has to be, will this message create local buyers?
Yes.
Once you design a campaign that will undeniably sell cars, then you turn to your agency and say, okay, now figure out how to navigate the font sizes and logo placements to make this compliant without diluting the hook.
And a strong marketing partner knows how to execute both.
Yeah.
You build around human motivation first, and you apply the compliance layer second.
Which brings us to the ultimate stress test provided in the source document. They call it the brutal audit.
Oh, this is the single most clarifying question a dealer can ask before signing an insertion order.
Let's hear it.
You look at the proposed campaign, the creative assets, and the media buy, and you ask your team, would we still spend our money to run this exact campaign if the manufacturer's reimbursement program did not exist.
Oh, wow. If the honest answer is no, if the only reason you are authorizing the spend is because you're getting half the money back, you
Yeah,
kill the campaign.
you kill it. Because if it's not strong enough to run with your own money, it's not strong enough to capture a buyer's attention. You are still wasting your half of the invoice.
So what does this all mean? Ultimately, subsidized marketing money must be assigned a specific job. A local dealership cannot survive on the fumes of brand awareness. It survives on transactions.
Right.
It survives on actual human beings walking through the glass doors with keys in their hand to trade. If a co-op campaign cannot clearly articulate why a buyer should contact that specific store right this second, it is not a sales campaign. It is just a national brand ad wearing a local dealer's name tag.
Which leaves us with a really fascinating dynamic to consider.
Yeah.
Think about it. The entire structure relies on local dealers accepting the illusion of free money and playing along with the generic buys. What happens if they stop?
Oh, wow.
If local dealerships universally woke up to this systemic waste, refused to run these sterile awareness-only co-op campaigns, and demanded that every matched dollar go towards sales-focused, localized creative, could they break the machine?
That's a huge question.
If thousands of local businesses suddenly rejected the compliance cage, would it force the massive multi-billion-dollar national car manufacturers to completely restructure their marketing arms from the top down? I mean, do the local operators actually hold the power to change national advertising?
It is a profound equivalent of leverage, because when the money is shared, the party willing to walk away from a bad deal usually dictates the terms of the new one. We will leave you to ponder who really holds the cards in that relationship. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the systems and metrics presented to you, and remember, just because a financial report looks clean on paper doesn't mean the strategy behind it isn't completely broken. We will see you next time.